We are in the thick of comfort food season, and I've been seeing an awful lot of chicken pot pie recipes pop up on social media these last few weeks. And since I bake a lot of them myself, I thought I'd make a video about my favorite pans for individual pot pies. These aluminum ones. Surprised? Well, then stick around because I'm going to explain exactly why I like these pans, and I'll show you a neat little trick for getting your pastry into the pan so it's all snug and professional looking. And if you've heard that aluminum pans don't do a good job of browning your crust, I'll show you how to ensure that you end up with a beautifully browned bottom crust. But first, in case we haven't met, I'm Ken Hadrick, the Dean of the Pie Academy, an online community of fabulous folks who love to bake pies, sweet and savory. And whether you're an experienced pro, a brand new pie maker, or somewhere in between, I hope you'll subscribe to this channel if you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment, and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss any of our videos. So, I've been baking pies for a long time and collecting pie pans, so I have a ton of different pie pans that I could bake individual pot pies in. I've got beautiful Le Creuset pans and other ceramic ones. I've got square casserole dishes. I've got ones that look like big egg cups, and I love all of them. And yet, whenever I make individual pot pies, I keep coming back to these plain Jane aluminum foil pans. And why is that? Well, frankly, part of it is nostalgia. They remind me of the frozen pot pies I grew up on, which always came in these foil pans. For another, they're the perfect size. They're about 5.5 inches across, 1.5 inches deep, and they hold 12 ounces. It's just the perfect size for a single serving. And if I decide I want to make these ahead and freeze them or give one away to a friend or a neighbor, I don't have to tie up my good pans in the freezer or try to track them down later. Now, these foil pans are easy to find. I put a link to them below in the description. But there is one little challenge to using them, and that's lining the pie pan with your pastry. Now, because the pans are so lightweight, they do tend to move around a bit on you when you're working with them. And because the sides are pretty steep, it can be tricky to lower the pastry into the pan neatly and to keep the dough from folding over on itself. So here's how we remedy that. Using an 8-inch circle of dough, flip the pan over and drape your dough evenly over the pan. Now take a second pan, the same kind, place it over the dough and press down gently as far as you can. It helps to jiggle the pan a little bit as you press. Now flip it over, remove the top pan, and voila! What you're left with is a snug-fitting pastry shell. Bear in mind that if your pan size is a little different from mine, you might also have to adjust the size of your dough a little bit. All that's left now is to fill your pie shells and put a pastry lid on each one, and then just trim the excess dough and crimp the edges with a fork. Now, you may have heard that foil pans aren't the best for pies because the bottom crust doesn't brown up like it should, but I've got a solution for that too. Simply put your pot pies on a dark baking sheet when you go to bake them. That dark sheet will soak up the oven heat and it'll help brown your bottom crust perfectly. I bake mine on the lower oven rack for 30 minutes at about 400 degrees, then I move them up to the middle rack for another 20 to 30 minutes until the top crust is golden brown. Now, if you want to learn all of my chicken pot pie tricks, check out the video below or the link below. I just held a 2-hour class on the subject, and it's full of great information and recipes for chicken pot pie bakers like yourself. And if you want to join us for our next live class, you'll find out more about that class in the video as well. So take care and thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.